You are listening to the Why Smart Women podcast, the podcast that helps smart women work out why we repeatedly make the wrong decisions and how to make better ones. From relationships, career choices, finances, to faux fur jackets and kale smoothies. Every moment of every day, we're making decisions. Let's make them good ones. I'm your host, Annie McCubbin, and as a woman of a certain age, I've made my own share of really bad decisions. Not my husband. I don't mean him, though. I did go through some shockers to find him. And I wish this podcast had been around to save me from myself. This podcast will give you insights into the working of your own brain, which will blow your mind. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm recording, and you are listening on this day. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, hello, smart women. If any of you had been listening to the audiobook of Why Smart Women Make Bad Decisions and How Critical Thinking Can Protect Them, which we have played over about the last 10 weeks, you might like to tune in to the next 15 weeks and listen to the audio recording of my second book, which is Why Smart Women Buy the Lies and How Critical Thinking Reveals the Truth. So this is a continuation of the hapless character Kat, how she identifies the flaws in her thinking and finally makes better decisions. If you find yourself tuning in and you are perhaps in episode 3 or episode 4, by all means, go back to episode 1 and follow the narrative because it has a very strong narrative arc. So, relax, kick back, get yourself a cup of tea or a glass of wine and listen to the audio version of Why Smart Women Buy the Lies and How Critical Thinking Reveals the Truth. See you soon. Bye. Chapter 1. You should have taken the rag doll.
Porridge, come on. Come here, Porridge. Come on. Come on, who's a good boy?
You've been calling for an hour. He's not a good boy. He's a bad boy. A very bad boy.
He's got a real personality,
said Miriam on the phone. Personality in dogs, as we all know, is code for maniac tendencies. That should have been the first red flag.
We're sorry to see him go, but Doug's hip's gone. We're just keeping the ragdoll cat.
You bet they're keeping the rag doll. You bet the rag doll comes back when it's called and doesn't chew all available pieces of soft furnishing.
I have a cat.
You'd said.
Porridge loves cats.
I live in a flat and have elderly neighbours. Is he obedient?
Oh, yes. We got him in the first place to be an assistance dog. Doug's real sad to see him go.
Liar. Doug must have clapped his hands when Porridge was loaded into the pet transport van. He must have cracked open a tinny and danced around the vacant spot where Porridge's dog bed had been.
What did he assist with?
This and that.
Does he bark much?
Only if he thinks you're in danger. He's very protective.
You must always be under extreme threat from unknown assailants because Porridge barks constantly.
He might need some Xanax.
Penny, the tiny vet with the tiny high voice, had said. Xanax? What is he, a 30-something advertising exec with a hot social life?
Are you anxious, Porridge?
Penny had cooed at him. Porridge had put his sizable paw into Penny's tiny hand and looked at her with large, doleful eyes.
He's a good boy at the vet, aren't you, Porridge?
She'd said, tipping a liver treat into his mouth.
Do you use treats when you do behavioural training?
Yes. I go through about 1 kilo a day.
We have a dog behaviouralist. I can refer him.
You want Porridge to go to a dog shrink?
Well, no, it's your decision, Kat.
Okay, I'm good. Thanks. I'll take the Xanax.
No, you can't take the Xanax.
No, I'll take the Xanax for Porridge, though now you mention it, what would happen if I did take the Xanax?
Penny's lips had compressed.
It's okay, I'm just joking. Though, what if the cat's having a rough night?
Penny had sent you out with the Xanax after you pledged not to give it to the cat, and the name of the dog shrink, should you change your mind. You'd eyed the Xanax next to you on the seat as you'd driven home. Back in the park, you stamped your feet pointlessly.
Porridge! Porridge, come on!
Owning a recalcitrant Groodle was not part of the plan you'd mapped out during the goal-setting Saturday session you'd attended at your gym. The only reason you'd stayed for the session was to collect the free water bottle emblazoned with the words, "Be that unicorn,"
If you don't know what you want, how will you know what to go for?
said Tobias, the trainer.
Write it down, legends, write it down.
So you'd written it down. 1. Stop being indecisive. The trainer had looked over your shoulder.
Maybe rephrase that into a positive?
Right. Be decisive. Or start being decisive.
You decide.
That's the problem, I can't.
He'd patted your shoulder and moved on to Dana, your training buddy. She'd already banged out half a thesis on her goals.
Great, Dana.
He'd said. Dana also finishes her circuits before everyone else and loudly says,
I finished. Should I keep doing squats until everyone else is done?
You'd crossed out stop being indecisive and written,
1. Decide if Michael is the one. 2. Be recognised for being amazing at your job. Be organised with your ambition. 3. Reboot your social life.
Your previous boyfriend, the hipster, had somehow managed to monopolise and neglect you simultaneously, and you'd let your friendships wither on the vine. You love Mrs. Hume and Mrs. Kovacic, your elderly neighbours, but really, should they constitute the bulk of your social life? You'd looked at how concise your goals were.
Right.
You'd thought,
This is your year to pull it together.
back in the park, it's getting dark. You're dying to get home. Mrs. Hume is expecting her relatives from England this afternoon.
They're staying with me while they look for a house.
She'd said. She'd rung an hour ago to say she'd been held up and asked you to greet them.
I just don't want Mrs. Kovacic corralling them on the stairs and blathering on about the flats being cursed. They'll think they've landed in some superstitious backwater. I adore Mrs. Kovacic, but this curse business is out of hand.
No worries.
You'd said.
I'll conduct an interception if necessary.
Also, if you're honest, you're desperate to have a look at them. Mrs. Hume's relatives are a couple with 2 children. The father is her nephew, or at least the nephew of her late husband. The mother is reportedly young, stylish and funny. You would like a young, stylish, funny person in the flats to sit around with and throw back margaritas. It starts to rain. You try your stern voice.
Porridge!
You yell.
Come here immediately!
The breeze picks up as the sun goes down. The temperature plummets. The park is emptying. People sensibly load their pets into their warm vehicles and head home. You turn around and walk in the other direction.
Porridge, come on, boy! Who wants a treat?
A woman walks towards you, preceded by a pink raincoat on a lead. Upon closer examination, the raincoat houses a small, neat Pomeranian cross.
You lost your fur baby,
She says. You find the term fur baby intensely irritating.
Yes.
You say.
Have you seen a large Groodle?
have we seen a Groodle, Trixie?
The neat Pomeranian sits at her feet. Its paws are placed perfectly in second position. Why did you get fixated on Groodles? Why didn't you adopt a small dog, a dog like Trixie with her ballet paws? The rain thickens. You're dressed in shorts and a T-shirt because you are only dropping into the park for 15 minutes and it was sunny when you arrived. It's now 12 degrees and you've been here for an hour and a half.
What colour is your Groodle?
Like beige, caramel,
What's his name?
porridge.
Oh,
She says. You prepare to launch into the disclaimer that you didn't name him, but it's now raining heavily and you shut your mouth.
so is it because of his colour?
You have no idea why Miriam named him Porridge. You'd asked her on the phone if you could change it. You were thinking of Nolan or Harry,
No, don't change his name.
said Miriam.
You want him to come back when you call him.
How long will it take him to get used to me?
Not long. He's a very well-adjusted, loving family dog. He just might be a bit nervy when he first arrives.
A bit nervy. The things that unnerve Porridge include plastic bags, men, buckets, his food bowl, cats, hats, sunglasses, your slippers, the lettuce spinner and the car, specifically the back seat of the car. You have to physically lever him into the front seat where he sits with one paw in contact with your leg at all times. Things that don't unnerve him include roaming over the hills like Julie Andrews. You'd rung Miriam after a week.
Yes,
She'd said.
he just needs time to settle in. He probably misses the rag doll.
Right.
Now you smile at Trixie's owner.
Yes, he's called Porridge because he's porridge-coloured.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for Porridge, won't we, Trixie? There's nothing worse than not being able to find our fur babies.
They trot past you, the woman safely ensconced inside her hooded raincoat. You briefly entertain the notion of going home, leaving Porridge to his own devices. He could catch his own fish from the park pond and eat wild berries like an episode of Alone. Then you realise he can barely manage to eat from his own bowl, let alone catch his own prey. It's now dark. You're drenched. The park lights flicker on. You're going to be late to greet the stylish relatives. Mrs. Kovacic will trap them outside her door and unsettle them with her dark theories of angry ghosts that seek revenge on the flat's residents. Mrs. Hume will not be happy. You're standing disconsolately on the path when, through the wet gloom, a lone caramel figure approaches. You squint your eyes. It looks like a Groodle shape.
Porridge!
You call.
Come on, boy! Who's a good boy?
It is Porridge, and he is overjoyed to see you. He bounds toward you. He is sopping wet and filthy. He has something disgusting in his mouth. You want to smack him, but having read a small amount of dog training literature, you have been led to believe that this will dissuade him from returning in the future. Instead, you are meant to praise him for his obedience. Well, you're sorry, but that's a bridge too far. The best you can manage is to clip his lead on and say,
Come on, and you're not sitting in the front seat.
3 minutes later, this threat has turned into a Mexican standoff, with you standing at the open back door, pointing at the seat, and him lying down on the ground. Trixie's owner stops her car next to you and briefly observes the tableau.
Your fur baby is found,
She says.
Trixie and I are so pleased.
She drives off with a little wave in her pleasantly warm car, Trixie looking smugly out the back window. Lightning and thunder have now commenced. Porridge is lying in an ever-deepening puddle, looking around him like he's at the hardware store looking for the right sort of stainless steel cement nails. You drag him to the back seat.
You're not getting your own way today, buddy.
You're so wet that your hair is stuck to your head, and you're having trouble seeing because the rain is sleeting into your eyes. You put his paws on the seat and lever his back half into the car. He looks back at you aghast and immediately climbs into the front, leaning heavily on the door and looking studiously out the window. You climb into the driver's seat and lean over into the back to find an old dog towel to dry off your hair. You start the engine, and in the privacy of your own car, you give him both barrels.
Right. You can look out the window as much as you like, but nothing will change the fact that you're a bad dog. A bad, bad dog. Not only are you bad, but you're also a coward. What other dog is afraid of plastic bags and letter spinners? Honestly, it's tragic. Also, Susan doesn't like you. The rag dog cat may have tolerated you, but Susan is a discerning cat and she's not keen.
He continues to gaze fixedly out the window.
I'm giving you back to Miriam.
He side-eyes you. The threat of returning him to Miriam may have hit home. You adopt a conciliatory tone.
I'm sorry, Porridge. Next time, if you could come when I call you, that would be optimal.
He puts his paw on your leg. By the time you get home, you have patted his ears and promised him dinner. This is why the idea of having children bothers you. You're a total pushover. They'd be roaming all over the park at night, and you'd be standing in the rain, calling helplessly into the dark. Cat meets a stylish relative. You park the car, haul Porridge out and run through the rain to the flats. A man is trying to pull open the door to the foyer while dragging 2 suitcases behind him. This must be the stylish relative. He's tall and square-shouldered, his full head of hair cut short. With him is a boy aged around 9 or 10. The boy looks at you and Porridge.
Hold the door, Will.
The man says.
Let me.
You offer. He sticks his foot in the door and pulls the suitcase through. The boy follows him. The door shuts behind them with you and Porridge still standing outside in the rain. You open the door and Porridge lunges at the visitors. Porridge loves new people. The man turns around and looks at you. He's so good-looking you feel winded.
Does the dog bite?
No, he's very well adjusted.
You turn to the boy.
This is Porridge. He's a Groodle.
The boy stares at Porridge. Porridge barks.
Porridge, stop it. I'm so sorry.
What's the story with the lift?
His eyes are extraordinary, green, You've always found green eyes and jet black hair very attractive.
Sorry, our lift is always out of order. Keeps us fit, but let me help you. Give me one of the suitcases.
No, I'm balanced. Just keep the dog out from underfoot. Will, come on.
He starts up the stairs. Keeping a safe distance, you climb the stairs after him.
Why don't they fix the lift?
He mutters to the boy. By the time you get to your landing, the man is breathing heavily. Mrs. Kovacic has come to her door, tea towel over her shoulder, hands covered in flour.
Porridge, be quiet! Naughty dog, come here.
You release Porridge's lead. He bounds over to Mrs. Kovacic and puts his paws on her shoulders.
Hello?
She says to the man.
You must be Mrs. Hume's nephew.
He looks at her.
Yes. Excuse me.
He starts the next flight. The boy trips. The father turns around.
Careful, Will. The last thing we need is another injury.
The child turns around and looks at you. You smile. Nothing.
I'm in flat 4 if you need anything.
You call after them. You hear the door above you open.
Can you believe there's a big dog in the flat below? Why do people keep dogs in a flat?
Mrs. Kovacic covers Porridge's ears with her tea towel.
Don't listen to him, Porridge.
You making scones? Maybe he'd like one.
She raises her eyes to the stairwell, crosses her arms.
I remember the day the Yees moved in.
She crosses herself.
That was happy day.
You cross to the door and take her hand. Your fingers come away dusted with flour.
I miss him too.
Porridge leans into her leg. Susan appears and wreathes herself around your legs, then languidly mounts the stairs to Mrs. Hume's.
Mrs. Hume should have mentioned her nephew is a god.
You say, watching Susan's progress. You hope Mrs. Hume's handsome nephew likes Susan. You hear the door bang upstairs. Mrs. Hume's handsome nephew does not like Susan. He has descended the stairs, holding her by the scruff of her neck. Porridge puts his paws up on the man's legs. Susan arches her back and hisses.
Is this your cat?
Yes, it is.
It keeps coming in the door.
He says, handing her to you.
Sorry. Porridge, get down. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Alec.
Hi, Alec.
You say, smiling and dragging your wet hair back from your face.
Sorry about me. Porridge didn't want to leave the park.
He doesn't return the smile.
I can't chock the door open because he keeps coming in.
She is a she,
says Mrs. Kovacic.
She's looking for Mrs. Hume.
Right. Well, can you stop him?
Her.
Also, it scratched me.
He says, showing the underside of his wrist.
Did you try to move her away from the fridge? She doesn't like that.
A voice comes from the floor above.
Alec!
Is that the stylish woman? Alec rubs his wrist.
My daughter is allergic.
He says, turning back towards the stairs.
My name is Kat.
You say to his departing back. He turns.
Another cat. Do you scratch too?
He continues up the stairs.
When they find out about the curse, they'll probably go home.
Mrs. Hume says they'll stay until they find a house.
Mrs. Kovacic raises her eyebrows.
I think she'd rather you didn't discuss the curse with her relatives.
What have you been saying about me to Mrs. Hume?
Nothing. But come on, Mrs. Kovacic. Mrs. Hume has been here for years and she's fine.
Mrs. Hume only fine because I put curse remover in her pot plant. But even then, every day I worry I find her dead. COVID could come back any day and take one of us. COVID is the curse's servant.
Right.
Mrs. Hume said the relatives were nice. He's not nice.
She pats her knees. Porridge trots across the hall and sits companionably on her feet.
Well, he has just struggled up the stairs with 2 suitcases. They're just off the flight.
You going to drop Mickey and go for James Bond?
No.
Well, why are you defending him?
It's just in my nature to give people the benefit of the doubt. Also, it's Michael, not Mickey.
Susan jumps out of your arms, bats Porridge on the head with her paw and winds herself around Mrs. Kovacic's legs.
Sorry, Susan. I'd love to have you, but Mr. Cranky say you could get under wheels of chair.
She rolls her eyes towards the inside of her flat where Mr. Kovacic will be sitting in his wheelchair, watching the street from his front window. You have lived in the flats for 6 years. After the hipster left, you bought a new black crockery set, adopted Porridge, inferring to Susan that his stay was temporary, and surprised yourself by not shedding a single tear.
How is Mr. Kovacic?
Mrs. Kovacic shrugs.
Cranky. He can't stop talking about this concrete cancer in the building. He thinks we're going to go broke paying strata fees. He's driving me crazy.
Well, I think we'll find out how much it'll be tonight. It'll be fine.
You are not remotely sure it will be fine. Mr. Sanderson, strata president, has inferred with some satisfaction that it could be in the hundreds of thousands. You hear the foyer door open. Footsteps slowly climb the stairs. Mrs. Hume is home. Mrs. Kovacic leans over the banister.
They're here. They've arrived.
I'm aware of that.
Says Mrs. Hume, getting to the top of the stairs.
There's no need to scream.
Porridge barks joyously at Mrs. Hume's arrival. Mrs. Hume leans on the railing, pats her hair and looks upward towards her flat, breathing heavily.
Oh, be quiet, Porridge. Have you met Charlotte, Cat?
Mrs. Hume has had her hair done. She usually gets her hair done on a Thursday. Today is Tuesday. And she's carrying her Sunday handbag. For weeks, Mrs. Hume had been preparing for her stylish relative's arrival. She had the carpet steam cleaned, replaced the curtains, bought a new kettle, and found English crackers so they'd feel at home.
We've met him.
He's good looking, like my husband.
Wow. Your husband must have been a real knockout. Let me take that bag for you.
She smiles at you.
You'll like her. She's absolutely delightful. We've had some Zooms. She's terribly stylish. She's going to rebrand me.
She's going to brand you.
Rebrand.
She's going to style her.
Susan leaves Mrs. Kovacic and rubs herself against Mrs. Hume's legs.
Why? What's wrong with your style? You're 80. Does she want to make you look like the Kardashian? Anyway, you want a drink of water?
Porridge barks.
Ignore him. I'm attempting behavioural modification.
You start up the stairs with Mrs. Hume's bag. As you approach the door and raise your hand to knock, you hear a shout from within and a curt answer in reply. You lower your hand, put the bag at the door and head back down the stairs. Mrs. Hume is standing in Mrs. Kovacic's doorway, balancing Susan and a drink of water. The door to Mrs. Hume's flat opens.
Aunt Lucy, hello.
Calls Alec from the landing above.
We let ourselves in.
He's leaning on the railing, looking like he's in the middle of a Dior fashion shoot. Aunt Lucy? You'd never thought of her as someone's aunt.
Hello, Alec.
Says Mrs. Hume.
Welcome to Sydney.
He comes down 2 steps.
Do you need a hand?
Mrs. Hume raises her eyebrows at you.
I can manage a flight of stairs. This is Kat and Mrs. Kovacic.
Hello.
He smiles, clearly for Aunt Lucy's benefit. His teeth are extraordinary.
I've met Porridge. Terrific dog.
His smile drops.
Are you bringing the cat? He scratched me.
Alec is one of those people whose faces look equally good in repose as when they're smiling.
You probably tried to move her away from the fridge.
Says Mrs. Hume, handing Susan to you.
How's Charlotte?
Nose to the grindstone as usual.
Mrs. Hume puts her hand on the banister and commences the climb. Getting to the top where Alec envelops her in a hug, they disappear into her flat.
She must have some important job. She only been here 5 minutes, and she already knows to the milestone.
Grindstone.
What?
It's the nose to... Oh, never mind.
I just hope she is nicer than him.
Says Mrs. Kovacic, wiping her hands on her apron. You go to defend him, then stop yourself just in time. eBay calling. You go into your flat with Porridge and change into dry clothes, wondering if the handsome nephew and his family would care that Mr. Kovacic has had a stroke, that Mr. Yee passed away from COVID, or that Mrs. Kovacic now believes the flats are cursed. Your phone rings. You don't know the number, but it might be the store from which you ordered an engraved collar for Porridge. It had arrived bearing the name Coleridge, like you would name your Grudel after an 18th century poet. Also, Coleridge has 1 L. You pick up.
Hello, this is Nina from eBay. We're checking on a recent $500 transaction made on your account. Did you make that?
A $500 transaction? No, not that I recall.
You lower yourself onto the edge of your couch. There was a report on the news last night about a man who'd saved for a house deposit for 10 years, hadn't taken a holiday or been out to dinner. He'd been scammed out of the lot. He cried.
So that was not you?
She says.
Okay. Would you mind holding the line while I hand you over to my supervisor?
Your supervisor?
Yes, he's a fraud specialist who will determine if there has been illegal activity and what you can do about it.
Your brain goes into panic. If there has been illegal activity, You would remember a $500 purchase. Something's not right. What if you've been majorly hacked? Also, Lizzie from work had her identity stolen. It was a nightmare.
Hello, this is Andrew.
Hello, Andrew.
My colleague tells me that you do not remember making a $500 transaction on eBay.
That's right.
Well, I'm here to help.
How do I know this is a genuine call?
I understand your reservations, ma'am. You're right to be wary, but I can assure you this is a genuine call. I work in the eBay fraud team. Would you like my eBay employee ID number?
Well, you think to yourself, he sounds genuine, but also, hang on, don't be a sucker. He gives you a number.
You could be making that number up.
Okay. Punch this URL into your web browser and the eBay website will come up.
You grab your laptop and yes, the eBay website appears with a photo and an ID number. Andrew looks a bit like a young version of your CEO, David Firth.
Hang on. You could be faking this website.
He sighs. You begin worrying that he's trying to help you and you are delaying the process.
Okay. Let's just confirm your network connections are fully secure. Would that be okay?
How do I do that?
Open Settings.
Okay. Open.
Click on Network.
Network.
Please click on Your Connection, find the Advanced button and select DNS. Can you see some numbers?
Yes.
What we don't want are the numbers 192 or 168.
Oh, no. That's what's here, 192 and 168.
Both of them? That's not good. Right now, anyone can get into your system.
Your heart starts to hammer. On top of your porridge-related park drenching, this is too much.
Okay, we can stop this. Let's see if anyone is actually targeting you. Please open your activity monitor and select the Network tab.
Yes.
Tell me if you see the word Net Bios in the list.
Yes. Net Bios.
That's them. They're hacking your system right now.
What? Someone's hacking me right now?
Yes, ma'am, right now. Net Bios is the signature of a Russian hacker syndicate. They pretend to be environmental activists, but they're really just thieves.
Is it just my eBay account?
No, ma'am. They could have access to everything, including your bank accounts.
Your legs feel weak, your stomach churns.
Well, can we stop them?
We can, ma'am. That's what I've been trying to do.
I'm sorry. There's so much in the news about scamming.
Of course, ma'am. You're right to be careful. This is what will happen next. I will send you a link and you will download a security patch that will immediately block NetBIOS hackers from your network and prevent any future hack.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am. We want to keep our customers safe. Have a nice evening.
The email arrives as Andrew promised. You download the security patch and install it like an IT pro. You check your bank accounts. Everything is in order. Porridge comes and puts his head on your lap. You're awash with relief.
That was close.
You say to Porridge, "No forest green sheets for you." The next morning, Michael wakes you. He has inserted a strange device up his nose to stop his snoring. It's not working. It makes him look like a tapir. You lean over and remove the device.
I'm going to buy the forest green sheet set, and that nose thing makes you look like a tapir.
You take your phone from the bedside table and open your internet banking account to pay for the sheets. You sit up in bed.
No. No! No!
Your savings account has been emptied. Susan rouses herself and looks at you.
"What is it?"
says Michael.
I've been robbed.
"How do you know?"
Because I went to buy the forest green sheets and my savings account is empty.
"Check your other accounts."
You scream.
Oh, no!
There wasn't much in them, but they too have been cleaned out.
"It's okay. Call the bank. They have a fraud squad."
It was the eBay people.
"The eBay people?"
The eBay people that rang me last night. They told me I'd been hacked and that they would protect me.
"It's okay, Kat. They have very organised scams."
How is this possible? I opened up the eBay website and there was his photo and his ID number. Why am I so stupid?
"It's okay, Kat. Ring the bank."
Oh my God, I'm the worst idiot.
You lie back down and pull the covers over your head.
I can't afford this right now. We've got the strata fees for the building repairs.
Michael pulls back the covers.
"Kat, ring the bank."
Oh, I thought it could have been a scam, but he had an answer for everything.
"It's okay. They're very sophisticated. Ring the bank."
We do training exercises at work where they send out fake scams and see if you fall for it. I never have. I thought I was scamming Teflon.
"Kat, ring the bank."
You dial the number.
They're going to think I'm a total fool.
The automated voice sounds reassuring.
"In a few words, please tell us how we can help you today."
Hello? I'm a complete idiot. I think I've been scammed.
The automated voice sounds unfazed.
Thank you. Hold on and I'll put you through to someone who can help you.
Michael smiles encouragingly.
I am a complete idiot.
You say,
"Hello, this is Eva. How can I help you?"
Yes, this is Kat Mitchell speaking. I've been scammed.
eBay?
Yes.
You're the 20th call this morning.
you don't know if being part of a scammed collective makes you feel better or worse. Your internal lie detector. This tiny slice of Kat's life features dozens of lies with a range of consequences for Kat, from taking ownership of a rambunctious Groodle to gifting bank account access to a team of scammers. Kat's a smart woman. How did this happen? Are human beings entirely defenseless in the presence of lies? No, we are not. Evolution has provided us with mechanisms that help us detect lies. We spot a red flag, smell a rat, or sense that something seems fishy. Something doesn't quite ring true or stack up. We describe someone as acting in a suspect manner or being shady. It feels like someone is pulling the wool over our eyes. In these moments, we can tell something's not right, so there is definitely something happening in our nervous system to alert us to the presence of lies. You may know about the amygdalae, two almond-shaped regions of the brain that light up when we perceive danger. Some lies subject a person to significant danger, so it makes sense that the amygdalae will fire up. But what tells the amygdalae that something is not quite right? A neuroscientific study showed the parahippocampal gyrus, PHG, also lights up in our brains when we are being told lies. The PHG's primary function seems to be recognizing reliable patterns in scenery, landscapes, rooms, and furniture. It informs a person about their physical environment and is aroused when something is perceived to be out of place. They showed that the PHGs of test subjects would light up when presented with suspicious information. The benefit of this function to our pre-verbal ancestors is clear. The presence of an environmental anomaly should have aroused concern. It might be a strange sunset presaging a violent storm. A disturbed campsite could awaken suspicion of a potentially dangerous intruder, animal or human. When working well, being alert to danger, amygdalae, and sensitive to things being out of place, PHG, combine with other functions to create the mind's internal lie detector. However, like so many brain functions that evolved to keep us safe, the internal lie detector can malfunction. Overly active amygdalae can prevent people from recognizing trustworthy sources of information. The inability to trust or feel safe with others under any circumstances is a characteristic of clinical paranoia and anxiety disorders. But if the system doesn't pick up on the signals at all, or if other brain functions override it, the lies go undetected. A well-functioning internal lie detector operates in the Goldilocks zone, in which we are not too suspicious, yet not too gullible. We can support this vital function by sharpening our critical thinking skills and our powers of observation, reasoning, and judgment. How much is that doggy in the window? Let's start at the beginning of the chapter when Kat finds herself the owner of a recalcitrant Groodle. Being Porridge's mistress is ultimately a positive experience for Kat. But Porridge is not the well-behaved dog that Kat had anticipated owning. So how did it happen? Why did Kat agree to take Porridge? Kat has happy memories of childhood days playing with adorable dogs. Kat sees photos of Porridge as a sweet puppy and hears Miriam describe Porridge as well-balanced. Her perception is also influenced by emotional drivers that operate beneath the level of consciousness. Deep in her unconscious lies Kat's desire to have a child. She is unaware that the dog is a proxy for the child she wants. I'm not saying that a dog is a child substitute for most people. It just happens to be for Kat. Presented with a picture of an obedient and well-adjusted ex-assistant dog who will leap to her protection when required, Kat constructs a compelling reason to proceed. Kat experiences her reasoning as being rational and objective, but it is not. She is oblivious to her unconscious reasoning. That's why it's called unconscious. She is conscious of several thoughts. He's a lovely-looking dog. It would be good to have a companion for Susan. I'd feel more safe and secure with a dog. Having a dog will make me do more exercise. Kat is convinced by her own arguments and says yes to Miriam. Humans indulge in motivated reasoning, which means we will reason our way around something to come to the conclusion we want. Being vulnerable to lies about a dog is one thing, but the same kinks in Kat's brain are also in play in other, more risky contexts. eBay or not, online scamming has reached epidemic proportions. How often have you heard someone say, "I consider myself an intelligent person. I can't believe I fell for it"? We shouldn't judge ourselves for trusting too easily. Intelligence offers too little protection when we're in the thrall of a professional scam artist. That said, the scammer's playbook has some common elements. There is an offer that seems too good to be true, coupled with urgency. To take advantage of this, they say, you must act now. If the offer succeeds in triggering desire, our cognitive flaws make us putty in their hands. We think our rational brain is in charge when, in fact, it's our unconscious emotional drivers that are calling the shots. We've all picked up a call and found a potential scammer on the other end. What makes the difference between falling for the scam and not? Let's take apart Kat's experience of being conned by fake eBay employees. Some of these scams have an impressive shopfront. The original caller, Nina, plays her part by sounding like a tech company's customer service officer. When Kat confirms she has not made a recent purchase, the escalation to the supervisor seems like the right thing to have happened. From a distance, the trick is so simple. Have you made a $500 purchase? It sounds like a genuine question with two possible answers, but Nina knows that Kat will say no. Why doesn't Kat smell a rat? Well, she does. Her amygdala and PHG are activated, but the scammers redirect her warning signals. Like many of us, Kat has been primed by her general perception that cybercrime is rife. And it is this very perception these scammers play on. You're right to be wary, says Andrew, the supervisor. I'm here to help. What is priming? Priming happens when a person is exposed to certain stimuli that influences future responses to the same stimuli. This is an unconscious process. Words or images can influence our thinking without us knowing. Kat hears the name of a trusted brand, eBay. She hears the words supervisor and fraud team. She sees what Andrew predicts. The numbers and words he describes are in her operating system. Kat is unaware that asking to see those numbers and words is like asking someone to look inside a car to see if there's a steering wheel. Even though she begins with a cautious mind, Kat's faulty reasoning makes her vulnerable. Also, Andrew has the authority of an expert, making Kat vulnerable to the argument from authority logical fallacy. Argument from authority leads us into the trap of believing something is true because we perceive that the person communicating it is an authority on the subject. Andrew sounds certain. He validates Kat's concerns and praises her for being cautious, which makes Kat feel safe. When Kat feels safe, her amygdala stand down. She reasons with herself that he must know what he's talking about. Once she concludes that Andrew is on her side, she is lost. The action she takes is precisely what the thieves want. Lie detection. I do hope that doggie's for sale. Notice when you are sucked in by photos of dogs, children, weight loss products or potential Tinder dates, and be on the lookout for motivated reasoning. Major purchases and decisions, especially those involving animals and relationships with other humans, deserve extra scrutiny. Are they really on your side? Be cautious when people, especially strangers, assume the role of your protector. End of Chapter 1.
Thanks for tuning into Why Smart Women with me, Annie McCubbin. I hope today's episode has ignited your curiosity and left you feeling inspired by my anti-motivational style. Join me next time as we continue to unravel the fascinating layers of our brains and develop ways to sort out the fact from the fiction and the over 6,000 thoughts we have in the course of every day. Remember, intelligence isn't enough. You can be as smart as paint, but it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. And in all this talk of whether or not you can trust your gut, if you ever feel unsafe, whether it's in the street, at work, in a car park, in a bar, or in your own home, please, please respect that gut feeling. Staying safe needs to be our primary objective. We can build better lives, but we have to stay safe to do that. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the podcast and share it with your fellow smart women and allies. Together, we're hopefully reshaping the narrative around women and making better decisions. So until next time, stay sharp, stay savvy, and keep your critical thinking hat shiny. This is Annie McCubbin signing off from Why Smart Women. See you later. This episode was produced by Harrison Hess. It was executive produced and written by me, Annie McCubbin.